Hi friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel Mechanical Engineering Exams Made Simple. Friends, in this video we will see what are the functions of piston, what are the functions of piston, then piston requirements, what are the requirements of a good piston, and also what is a major problem with regard to a piston and how to avoid that problem. And we will also see some special type of pistons. So first of all, let us see what are the functions, what are the different functions of a piston. So basically piston is to transmit the force of explosion to the crankshaft. So between the piston and crankshaft we have a connecting rod, yes or no? The linear motion of the piston is going to be converted to rotary motion of the crankshaft through connecting rod, the joining element, right? Of course your piston is connected to connecting rod by a wrist pin or piston pin or gudgeon pin, and your crank is connected to the connecting rod through crank pin. So the function of a piston basically is to transmit the force of explosion to the crankshaft. Number 2, to form a seal so that high pressure gases in the combustion chamber do not leak into the crankcase, and there should be a perfect sealing between the piston and the combustion chamber or cylinder walls, let us say. Third one, to serve as a guide and bearing for small end of the connecting rod. So we know that the small end of the connecting rod joined to the rod end of the connecting rod end of the that one joined to the piston is known as the small end, and the connecting rod end joined to the crank is known as the big end. Okay friends, now it is going to also serve as a guide and bearing for small end of the connecting rod. This is the third function, right? Now what are the basic requirements of a piston? Let us see. So such type of questions may be asked, friends. So he might give select any three and he may be asking you to select the correct answer. The piston requirements, something like, so is it should be longer length and heavy weight, light thermal load thermal conductivity, etc. So he is going to change the combinations of what you call shortest, light and high, etc. Then longest, heavy and low, like that. Okay, let us see how the questions can be asked. And now what are the piston requirements? It should be silent in operation so that there is no sound, and a rough operation should be silent in operation both during warming up and normal running. Number 2, design should be such that the seizure does not occur. Sometimes we know that piston is going to be seized between the cylinder and the piston, cylinder walls and the piston, so it will not move. So it's called seizure. Now third one is should offer sufficient resistance to corrosion. So piston should not get corroded very easily, otherwise it will be rendered useless. Now fourth one, it should be of shortest possible length, its length should be minimum possible. Next one, it should be light in weight, it should not be very heavy in its mass or weight. For that purpose normally aluminum pistons are used. Aluminum piston is having low density and low mass and hence weight also, friends. So and finally it should have high thermal conductivity so that it can dissipate the heat which is generated during the combustion of the your petrol air mixture or diesel air mixture. Finally it should be having longer life. Now friends, okay, so let us go to next topic. So a most general problem in a piston is the slapping. What is this piston slapping? It is a characteristic sound, a typical sound of a piston which is worn very seriously. So this is called piston slapping. But the question is how we can avoid this type of piston slapping, which is a serious problem in the pistons. So we can follow any of these methods with the use of a horizontal inclined slots, with the use of a vertical or T slots in the piston, and a taper pistons. Piston should be tapered from one end to other end, and it can be of oval shape, oval pistons, oval sized, oval shaped pistons, and we can use a special alloy pistons also, like then wire wound pistons. For example, we can wind a piston with the help of a wire, and autothermic pistons and bimetal pistons. Sometimes piston is made of two metals. Then finally by using offset pistons also we can eliminate or we can reduce the problem of slapping in the pistons. Now coming to the some type of special pistons are also mentioned here, friends. Some basic types of special types of pistons are like this. pistons with inserted ring carrier. Second one, cast steel pistons, anodized pistons, tinned pistons, oil cooled pistons, two-piece pistons, composite insulated, heat shielded pistons, and squeeze gas pistons, and also Aeconoguide pistons. Now, what are the different modes of piston failure? So, these are all the different modes of piston failure types, like piston scuffing, or your piston may be burnt at some location, maybe farthest from your spark plug, and there could be a serious damage to the ring gland, piston ring gland, or the damaged piston bars and circlip groove. So, through all these means, a piston can be subjected to failure and it will be rendered useless. Okay, friends. So, in this video, we have seen what are the different functions of piston, what are the important requirements, piston important requirements, and also what is the serious problem of piston slapping and how to avoid the piston slapping, and also we have also seen some special types of pistons, and also finally in what are the different modes in which a piston can be subjected to failure. In the next video, we can come up with some more questions which are useful for your AMVI Assistant Motor Vehicle Inspector for Automobile Engineering second paper, optional paper. We will meet in the next video shortly. See you all.